I'm Amber from Influencer Updates on Instagram and TikTok, and tonight I am doing an anonymous Q&A where I've asked people to anonymously send me questions and I'm going to answer them. There's 47 of them, so let's get through as many as possible. First question, it's actually an opinion. Podcasts struggle when one host leaves and it's awkward to listen to. Example, Laura Henshaw's solo episodes, Sam Guggenheimer is now doing a solo podcast, and then Alice. I'm not sure what Alice is. This is an interesting opinion. I think that it probably is a common opinion. I know that when I was approached by a podcast network about doing a podcast, they were very hesitant about the fact that I do my live streams solo. And they're like, is there anyone you could think of that you could do a podcast with? It's really good if people do it together and they can bounce off each other. But my answer was no. I said to them, I talk live for 40 minutes every Friday night. I can talk to myself, no problems. But yeah, a lot of people, apparently they do struggle with that. And I've noticed Izzy Armitage, so her new solo podcast, her first episode, she was talking to her producer a little bit. And then the second episode, she was interviewing her sister. So that way, I guess neither of them were fully solo podcasts. But yeah, I guess it does make it awkward to listen to when it's one person just talking to themselves, essentially, for the whole podcast. And it would be more engaging listening to multiple people. Next question. Thoughts on Sarah's Day's marriage? They don't seem to spend much time together anymore, and she's made some pot shots at him in comments about doing everything herself. Interesting. I hadn't noticed this, but now that I read it, it's true. I don't see Kurt much. I did notice, though, that with the latest controversy with Who is Elijah Perfume, I noticed that he was in the comments sticking up for her a bit. So, yeah, I'm wondering if maybe it's just that when she's spending time with him, she's not doing her social media content. But yeah, I also know that they have always taken pot shots at each other. That's just their humour. That's their relationship. And yeah, she has been mentioning her doing everything. I think that's because I think she did mention that he's focusing a lot more on his own business again lately. So I don't think there's anything bad going on there. I think that is just the normal dynamic of their relationship. Speaking of Izzy Armitage and Sam Guggenheimer, this next question is, Sam and Izzy, they say that there's no beef between each other, yet they don't support each other's content. Is this odd? I agree, it is very odd. So we've been told that they are now both doing a weekly podcast individually, and then monthly they're going to come together and do a joint podcast, and that they're still friends, but they just want to explore their own identities and not just be Sam and Izzy, which was like a joint identity anymore. But yeah, I definitely think there's something going on because, like this person said, they don't seem to be supporting each other's content. I've noticed in Izzy's podcast, somebody said, like the producer asked her, how did you get into influencing? And I thought it was interesting that she didn't mention Sam. I feel that Sam Guggenheimer was a big part of how she got into influencing and how she got her initial followers and things. And also with Sofa Dofa, that whole group of Melbourne girls, they worked better together and they all got each other the following, but she didn't mention any names in it. And I thought that was interesting. But yes, they definitely don't seem to support each other anymore. Sorry, I always forget I better look at the questions on the screen. Or someone else is going to 3 kids' birthday parties this weekend and they're excited about it. Yes, so am I. My sister's saying that she would be my podcast co-host for free. The reason I'm not doing a podcast is because I spend my days with my children, and if I was to do a podcast with a producer and editor and everything, it would have to be a set time per week that I meet with that person, and I just don't have that flexibility with children that are 2 and 5. So it's just not going to happen anytime soon. People are still asking about that Matt Poole thing. I'm going to have to post that a bit later because I don't know what that one is. All right. Katie Gull recently hinted that she was pregnant in a Jaz Hand made TikTok. I'm not sure who Katie Gull is, but she maybe works for Jaz Handmade or is friends with Jaz. But there you have it. She recently hinted that she was pregnant in a Jaz Handmade TikTok. Do you feel like Alyssa Jane's pregnancy is the reason behind the pod and friendship breakdown? No. So quite a few people have messaged me this. I don't believe that's the reason for the podcast breakdown. So she had a podcast called Seasonal Sisters with her best friend, Liv. I think her name was Liv. Yeah, something like that. Let's just call her Liv. And yeah, they recently announced that after 2 episodes of season 2, or 3 episodes, I think it was, they are ending the Seasonal Sisters podcast effective immediately. And Alyssa said that she's probably still going to continue podcasting, but solo, because it's something she'd been working on for years and really wanting to do. And that they stopped it because it was what was best for their friendship at the time or something. So to me, it means that they were struggling working together and it was having an impact on their friendship. So they decided, let's end the podcast to save our friendship. That's how I interpreted it. But yeah, a few people are asking if it's because of pregnancy, but I feel like if that is the reason, then Alyssa's kind of thrown her friend under the bus by saying, oh, you know, we weren't great friends doing the podcast together and I'm still going to do one. But her friend misses out because she's pregnant. So yeah, I don't think it is pregnancy. I think it's friendship drama. Not drama necessarily. I think they're still going to remain friends, but yeah, they realize they need to stop the podcast if they're going to remain friends. Next question. I wonder if Tammy and Anna are still friendly. I doubt it, but imagine if they end up at the same events. I highly doubt this as well. I do not believe that Tammy Hembrow and Anna McEvoy are still friendly. Anna wasn't invited, famously wasn't invited to Tammy's hens party, and there was also something else she wasn't invited to of Tammy's that was a little bit awkward. No, it's I can't remember it at the moment, but yeah, I don't think they were ever friends, and I don't think that they will be friends in the future after the breakup with Matt Zukowski. Next question, how is Tiana going to meet someone with Ashy Bynes always by her side when they go out? I mean, you can definitely meet somebody in other ways other than being out, such as dating apps or friends of friends. But yeah, I think that they do seem online to be very codependent on each other and always be together at every moment. But yeah, maybe Tiana will end up with one of Steve's friends, because Tiana has said that she likes older men, so that could work well for them. Oh, apparently Elodie Pullen has refollowed Brock Wadsworth. Wadsworth? I think that's his name. So yeah, I was saying last week that she had unfollowed him because it was rumoured that she was dating him, and now she unfollowed him, but now she seems to have followed him again. Feedback, this one is, you never seem to know anything. You just give an opinion or say, interesting, you could be right, or I don't know, I haven't heard. When have you ever said something before it's announced? Well, yeah, that is the point of my page. I'm not here trying to get the exclusive, trying to get gossip that hasn't been said publicly. My role is to update you all on what influencers are doing and what they are all saying themselves. I know it's a weird concept for a lot of people to get their head around. Trust me, I've heard plenty over the years that it is a weird concept. But yes, I am not a snark account. I'm not bitching about influencers. I'm not trying to dig deep and find hidden secrets and things. So yeah, that is true. And I think that the only thing that I've ever announced before it came out that I can think of off the top of my head is the video of Tammy and Matt when they met. So they were outside the Star Casino. Somebody was in their car and filmed it and sent it to me, and I posted it. And that was the first sighting of them ever together. And I believe that that is the only thing that I've ever posted that was exclusive. And I'm not trying to say otherwise. Okay, let's read the questions on the screen. Oh, the Seasonal Sisters, Alyssa's podcast host is Libby, not Liv. She's a midwife, and maybe that's why she's not an influencer. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole heap of reasons she may not be an influencer. She also may not want to share her personal life. I think that would be a big one. This person is saying Martha Kay has a new collab and was on the morning show this week. Yes, that is with Style Runner. I did speak about that one last week, actually. Oh, yeah, someone's saying here that I said Troy Candy had another baby before anyone knew. I did, but I wouldn't say that was something I posted exclusively. I didn't announce that necessarily. It was something I mentioned in a live. It wasn't a post that was viewed by heaps of people or anything, but yeah, that was something. Oh, here's another one. Were you right about guessing Anna's baby name? Well, yes. So that is another thing I posted before it was made public, and that, yeah, I feel bad about that. I did quickly delete it. So before Anna McEvoy had announced her baby's name, somebody had messaged me weeks prior saying that they have heard that Anna McEvoy has had her baby and this is the name, which was Suede Ashton Staples. And I just ignored it at the time because I was thinking she's still got 3 or 4 weeks to go, because Anna made a funny timeline on her social media about when she gave birth. And I was like, this doesn't seem real, but it was real. And then a few weeks went by and Anna still hadn't announced the baby's name. And I thought, well, I wonder if this rumor was true. And so I posted it and said, like, I've heard that this is the name. And it was one of those things where you got to shake the phone to reveal the name, and posted that just to subscribers. And Anna saw it and asked me to delete it, which I did straight away, because again, I was thinking it was just a rumor, may not even be true, but obviously it was true. So yeah, that is another example of something that I posted before it was made public. I think that there's a question about that as well. But anyway, so thoughts on the Vainished podcast. So that is Bec Judd's new podcast with her friend. The name is not coming to me right now. Jessie Roberts is her friend, the one that's blocked me. So thoughts on her podcast. I'm extremely disappointed. So I was very excited for this podcast. I wanted to know rich people problems. I wanted to know Bec Judd's like business mind. She's got the brand Jagged. She's got her influencing career. She has a huge influencing career. In fact, I know that she's not as famous as Tammy Hembrow, for example, but I know that she is a huge influencer in terms of like the brands that she works with and the number of ambassadorships and things that she does. I would love to hear about all this stuff. But they've decided that they're going to make the subject of their podcast beauty. And that to me is so, so boring. As you can probably see, my beauty routine is very low maintenance. I haven't had any surgery, fillers, Botox, any of that stuff, because I don't give a F. It is so boring to me, and there is so much more interesting stuff about Bec Judd than what she looks like. But of course, it's making a lot of headlines. Nadia Bartel was on there, and she admitted she had a nose job. Apparently, she had not admitted that previously. Again, who cares? I literally don't care that Nadia Bartel's had a nose job. But anyway, as I said, I was just really disappointed that that was the topic that they're going to run with for their podcast. Next question. Listen to the Outspoken deep dive today. Was the dog that bit Tammy just before Posy's birth Matt Poole's dog that passed away the day she was born? Was the dog put down because of that? This is honestly a question that lives rent-free in my head. So yeah, before Tammy gave birth to Posy, about a week before, she got bitten by a dog on the hand, and it was in bandages, and she never said whose dog or what happened or anything. And then this person saying it was the day that Posy was born. Maybe it was a few days later, I'm unsure. Matt Poole's dog passed away. And yes, I've always wondered, was it Matt Poole's dog that bit Tammy and then had to be put down? Or was it just old age? I don't know. That answer has never been revealed. Okay. Do you think Jaz Hand posting her new Bottega bag that was $8,000 is tone deaf? Yes, it is simply yes, that is tone deaf. Why anybody needs an $8,000 handbag, I don't really understand. Why they see the need to post it is also questionable to me. I don't understand why, but what would that achieve? Does that entertain your followers? No. Does that educate your followers? No. I just don't see what that achieves personally. Okay, next question. What do you think was the actual reason for Tammy and Matt's divorce? I think this is sort of going to be a combination of things that I've said in the past leading up to the announcement. So I think that the reason for their divorce is, I think that, so previously I've said that the reason why Tammy Hembrow is so successful is because she's so good at everything she does, and her life is very much, it's her way, and everything is structured and it's her way for a reason. And that is why she's so successful. She's got everything all streamlined, and Matt Zakowski, he needed to come into her life and work with her, do what she needed him to do. If she's needing to travel, he needs to be doing whatever she needs at that point, sort of thing. She's the boss of the relationship, and she needed somebody who was going to help her in that relationship, if that makes sense. And then I feel like boundaries might have been crossed, especially after the previous cheating incident where he texted a girl when he was drunk and said, oh, do you have a boyfriend or something? And she's like, are you still married? I think that created a lot of tension. So then she probably felt that she needed boundaries with him, and then maybe he was breaking those boundaries, such as like when he was going back to Melbourne all the time. He might have been going out and things. This is just me speculating. I don't know. I could be completely off here, but yeah, I just feel like boundaries were broken, and that was upsetting Tammy, and eventually they just weren't going to work together. He wanted to be back in Melbourne, seeing his friends and family, and the trust had been broken, and that's my theory. I don't know, because that's all I've got to work with. I don't have any insider information or anything. Next question. Ruby Tuesday Matthews and Shannon Dodds in hot water drink driving. Okay, I haven't heard anything about that one. What is Mitch Orval's job? I am so curious. I think that Mitch Orval's job is working for Jerome Ahern for the Winners Locker, which is that giveaway company. I believe that is his job. Next question. Catherine Denton is always talking about her jewelry business, giving followers the idea that's where her lifestyle comes from, but she never finished her course. No, she never finished gem course. Okay. Interestingly, Laura Byrne, she once mentioned a few months ago that her jewelry business, Lola May, I think it's called, is her number one source of income, which I found really, really interesting. I just don't even know anybody who buys the jewelry brand. They do have one store in Sydney, I believe, maybe two, but I really would have thought that influencing would have been her biggest income source, and then the podcast probably would have been second, radio maybe third, and I would have thought jewelry fourth. But yeah, she said that jewelry is her number one source of income, so maybe it is for this Catherine Denton as well. Next question is marketing bro getting married in Italy, the former owner of Alia Skin, biggest ick. Why is getting married in Italy a big ick? Interesting. I don't know what that one's about. Sarah's Day is sleep training Fox and Malachi, and now Harlow. Disappointing. I don't know why that's disappointing. Teaching your child how to sleep is responsible, in my opinion. It's obviously controversial, but I think that, we teach our children so many things. We try and teach them how to talk by talking to them all the time. We try to teach them how to eat a varied diet by offering them lots of things. We try to teach them how to walk, how to climb ladders. And why would we not teach them how to sleep? Like, sleep is one of the most important things in terms of our health. And I think that children sometimes need a bit of help with that. But also I think that sleep training has a really bad reputation as sleep training. People think that the word sleep training means letting your baby cry themselves to sleep. And that is absolutely not what it means. Sleep training can mean routine. It can mean like having the same bedtime. It can mean the routine before bed, like having a bath and then going to bed. Like that, sleep training is so broad, and any qualified sleep trainer would not be recommending the cry it out method where you let your baby just cry themselves to sleep. So I don't imagine she's doing that. But I also think that she said that she's going to try and sleep train Harlow, but she's got all of these other professionals working with her because he has this severe reflux and he has allergies to a whole heap of things. I just don't know if sleep training is the answer. I feel like it's a lot bigger of an issue than that. But she's doing everything she can. All right, next question. Just wondering, had Matt, Poole and Tammy split before she gave birth to Posy? I always thought he was awkward during the birth in her birth vlog. Yes, they had split before the birth of Posy, but they did try and rekindle after the birth. He wasn't living with her, but he was in a lot of her social media content, like cuddling in bed and things. They did try and make it work. They went to a wedding together as well, but it obviously didn't work out. Okay, next question. The other week you mentioned that quite a few influencers don't immunise their kids. Just wondering which influencers you know of that have openly spoke about choosing not to do this. Only asking because I've chosen against immunising my own kids and wondered which ones were the same. The ones I can think of off the top of my head are Montana Older, she is from Torquay, where my sister lives actually. And she's on TikTok and Instagram. And also like Chloe Zepp, and Mitch Orval as well, they did speak about not immunising their children. And also Ashley Vines. I don't believe she immunises her children. She's definitely anti-COVID vax, but I'm not sure if she's anti all vaccinations. But yeah, I suppose if you start there, you can probably find a few things. My children are fully vaccinated, in case anybody is wondering about their medical records. What's the go with Zana Pelli? Zana Pelli was there was like this list this week of top 100 Queensland influencers or something, and she was on that list and she was posting about that, so she was pretty proud about that, which is good publicity for her because there has been a lot of bad publicity for her of late. So she split with her partner. There are rumours that she was cheating on him. She was then posting a whole heap of stuff about domestic violence, which was implying that her husband did that to her. He hadn't spoken about the breakup at all until this point, and then he did a post saying, please be aware that these domestic violence posts aren't about me. He didn't say it in those words, but that was the only thing that he was like, I'm going to defend myself on this. She also has an alcohol brand with one of her friends, and the friend and her recently had a big fight because Zana locked her friend out of the social media because an article was written about the friend starting up the brand and Zana wasn't mentioned in the article, and Zana got annoyed about that. So I don't know what the go is with her, but she seems to fight with a lot of people. She is an ex My Kitchen Rules contestant. Yeah, that's the lowdown on her. Thoughts on Alyssa Jane's pregnancy announcement and the messages she sent to the dummy company? Yeah, so Tommy Tippy, I believe the brand was, the dummy brand. They recently sent Alyssa some newborn age dummies. So they said on it 0 to 3 months or something. And she messaged the company and said, my children are 2 and above. Who are these dummies for? Maybe you've sent it to the wrong person. And then a week later, like, she was annoyed that they had sent her these because she'd also been open about having a miscarriage, and she thought maybe that's why they had sent them to her because they'd heard about that. And now it's been about a week since then, and she has announced that she is indeed pregnant. So now people are saying, well, obviously Tommy Tippy sent you the dummies because they knew you were pregnant. But she's saying, maybe I didn't even know I was pregnant at that point, because she's saying that we don't know when she did the pregnancy test, and maybe she wasn't pregnant at that point. So the brand definitely wouldn't have known that she was pregnant. Something like that. But I think that honestly sounds fair. It does sound fair that maybe the brand didn't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this has all gone wrong, but it definitely is insensitive of a dummy company to send dummies to somebody who is not openly pregnant because, yeah, she had been going through miscarriages. Why did Anna McEvoy and Matt Zukowski pull their podcast episodes so quickly? So yeah, this week they released a podcast, which was their first one back for a while because Anna's been on mat leave. And they pulled the episode down really, really quickly, and then they put it back up again. But I don't know why. Matt did say that he's been getting a lot of anxiety about the episode coming out because it's him saying about his divorce. So maybe it was because of that. But yeah, there wasn't too much really said in it. It was just him saying he's not going to speak about it just because of respect for her children. Anna did mention on the episode about me exposing her baby name, which I seriously feel so bad about because, yeah, like she said she was really sad about it and stuff. But honestly, it was only up for about 30 minutes maximum, maybe even 20. And it was only to subscribers. It wasn't a public post. So there wouldn't have been too many people that saw it. All right, Kayla Boyd's self-compassion supper at $200-ish per person. And what do you think her new business venture will be? Okay, so I'm guessing this person's saying that she's hosting an event, Kayla Boyd is, and it's going to be $200-ish per person. I don't think that's too bad, honestly. I mean, depends what you get. If you get a goodie bag or food or whatever, I know Bella Messina, she's doing a live podcast and that's $99 a person and you get a goodie bag and nibbles and drinks and things. So it really depends what it comes with. But I feel like a lot of the time they're not actually making money out of the tickets for these things. Like by the time they have to fly to this place and organize everything and pay for the venue and pay for whatever else you might get, it's more of a marketing cost and it's good for promotion. So they might have, I know Bella Messina does, she's got sponsors for her event that she's running. So that might be how she makes money. But yeah, in terms of the ticket price, these are usually sold at less than what it would cost for the person to be there. And what do you think Kayla Boyd's new business venture will be? I don't know. So she's been very cryptic about it. She's saying that she's not going to tell anybody what it is because in the past she has told people her business ideas and then they've stolen them from her. And this would be referring to her ex-2 besties who now have a skincare brand, and Kayla Boyd has her own skincare brand or is about to, and she's no longer friends with them because she says they stole her idea. Did Ames lose her job or quit? So Ames is a TikToker who is a nurse, and she controversially did a salute in one of her TikTok videos, which a lot of people were claiming was a Nazi salute. She denies that. The police have cleared her of doing the Nazi salute. And yeah, this person's asking if she lost her job. I would say she probably still has her job, but she probably just doesn't post about it anymore. Unless she mentioned that she lost her job. No, because it says, did she lose her job or quit? Maybe she said she's no longer nursing. Don't know, but she is a very successful influencer now, so she definitely wouldn't need to be doing the nursing, so maybe she just feels it's easier not to. Not sure about that one. How did you know about Troy Candy's baby that hadn't been announced yet? Somebody messaged me, and when I say somebody, I don't know. Like, when people are messaging me, unless they're people I talk to all the time, I'm not looking at the name and profile pictures and things and trying to work out who this person is. I don't know. Somebody messaged it to me. This person's saying that Anna McEvoy got a lot of hate for Suede's name. Yeah, she did get a lot of hate. I noticed that, but someone told me that Chantel Duncan, she also has a son called Suede, but it's Swayde. And then I posted that on my subscriber stories. And then I noticed Anna started referring to her son as Sway, Sway. And I thought, I wonder if that's why. Did she see that post? And then thought, yeah, that could be his nickname, Sway. Don't know. But maybe that's what she's going to go with. Someone's listened to the Vainish podcast and it was a very, very shallow podcast. Yeah, I think it would be, hence the name. This person's saying that the whole promo shoot for the podcast gives the we're doing this to prove to ourselves that we're hot. Yeah, well, true. I guess the sexy and they know it. Is that the song? Sexy and I know it. I think that's the vibe they're giving. This person's saying, I can't believe how many treatments Bec Judd has had. It's quite sad for such a smart woman. Yeah, I can't even imagine what it would be like to be an influencer, looking at yourself all day, filming yourself all day, editing photos of yourself all day. You would definitely be then comparing yourself to other influencers, and a lot of the time, I think that they're doing these things for content because maybe this content is popular. They'll film themselves, I'm going to get Botox, and that's something that they can film for their page. Not sure. Or maybe it's something that they can easily get brand deals for. Not Botox necessarily, but, you know, skincare brands and treatments and things. It's obviously big business. Nadia Bartel gets up at 4:30 every morning. Wow. It's interesting that people always brag about getting up really early, but you don't see people bragging about staying up really late. And I just don't see what difference it is. It's honestly the same to me. Maybe it's not. This person's saying that Tammy's life is messy, not structured. I feel like that is something she portrays online. Yeah, she sort of portrays that her life is very cruisy and just goes with the flow, but I feel like it would be very structured. This person's saying, I've been told Matt wanted to go back to Melbourne because his mental health was suffering being away from his family. I definitely think there would be an element of that for sure, and that would be why he wanted to go back more often, or like when he was back for the podcast, he wanted to stay longer. And yeah, that probably did have something to do with the reason why they split up. When is this live going on Spotify? Well, it's still happening, so I can't upload anything until it has ended. And then it's a matter of waiting for it all to process and everything. But hopefully tonight, probably tomorrow. Laura Henshaw has had very successful products in supermarkets, Smart Income Stream. I don't believe they own the Kick health brand anymore. The Keep It Cleaner health brand. Yeah, I believe they sold that. Laura Byrne, front page of the Herald Sun magazine this Sunday with Maddie J and kids. Yes, I did see that. She'll be on the front of Stella magazine. And the good thing about that is that they always have an accompanying podcast interview on Something to Talk About. Something to Talk About is the name of the podcast. And yeah, I really like that interviewer. She's amazing. Oh yeah, that Nagi, that Recipe Tin Eats, she had to make a statement this week because it came out that Erin Patterson, the mushroom cook person who murdered 3 people in her family, it came out that she cooked the beef Wellington recipe from Nagi's cookbook. And yeah, I honestly just feel bad for Nagi that she had to even make a statement saying basically that was obviously not the intended use of her recipe and she doesn't recommend that ingredient. But she's just had a lot of publicity recently, including the Brookie Bakehouse drama. But I honestly think any publicity is good publicity, and a lot of people would want to buy the book now to see the beef Wellington recipe or even to make it themselves. I honestly, maybe I'm a sicko, I don't know, but it makes me want to buy it, and I want to cook the dish for my husband as a joke. It's a really sick joke, isn't it? I'm actually a psycho, sorry. I'm just going to stop this story because that's bad. This person's saying, sleep training isn't traumatic if it's done right. Stop judging people's parenting. I have 3 kids and one was sleep trained. It was a lifesaver. Now all my kids are secure sleepers. Totally agree with that. Emily Hembrow apparently has said that she doesn't vaccinate her children. This person is saying, give me all the vaccinations. Love that. Have I spoken about the Alyssa and Dummy drama? Yes, I have. Steph and Laura from Kick, updates or thoughts. They've announced that they're coming out with a new product and it's something that they never thought that they would ever going to do. And they mentioned the smell of saliva and baby vomit. I don't know. People were thinking sex toys, but then they were smelling it and then they were thinking maybe candles. I don't know, but I honestly think every time they have an announcement, it is always so underwhelming. So I really hope this one's not underwhelming. And yeah, I guess we'll see soon what they're coming out with. I also think their Frank Green collaboration, I really liked it, but I didn't buy it, I suppose. And I feel that really tanked as well. It's really weird because they're obviously such influential women, but I feel sometimes they just pick really random collaborations for their Kick brand. Did you see Mia Plessy talking about what she feeds her baby and mum life? I did see that. So something interesting she mentioned was she was saying that in all aspects of a mum's life, such as, you know, looking after your children, looking after yourself in terms of health and fitness, having a relationship with your husband, being good at your job, being social with friends and family. She was saying all the different things, the elements of life, you can really only choose 3. And at the moment, the ones that she's choosing are being good at her job, cooking everything for her son from scratch. That was one of her priorities. And I can't remember what the third priority was. But yeah, that is, I guess, what she feeds her baby. She does seem to feed him all, you know, like organic and bone marrow. And yeah, that's what she chooses to spend her time on. I also saw that she wants to release a new product, which is an electronic product. And it's something that's never been released before. And she doesn't understand why. And that she thinks she would need $5 to $10 million to release it. But yeah, let's see. Watch this space. How is Anna McEvoy famous? She is famous from Love Island Season 2, Australia. Was anyone else annoyed by Renee May's story last night? I never care, but get a grip, girl, honestly. Yeah, so I watched the story. So she was talking about how she was in Bali recently in Denpasar. And her flight was meant to leave at 10 p.m. She was there with her 2 children. She also said there were 2 other people with her, but I don't know who they were. But yeah, so she was there with her 2 children who were quite young. And the flight was meant to leave at 10. She then got some emails saying it was pushed back till 12. They got on the plane. They didn't leave. And then at 2:30, they said, oh, sorry, we actually can't take off anymore because the airport has closed. You're all going to have to hop off the plane. So then they all hopped off the plane. They had to go back through passport control, manually get their bags back because all the baggage handling was all shut. Everyone had gone home. She tried to get into an airport hotel for the night, but even all the reception desks there were closed and they had to just camp out in the airport overnight and wait until 1 o'clock the next day to get on a flight back to Australia. And she was saying it was the most traumatizing thing that's ever happened to her in her life, mainly because she had one of her children in a baby carrier on her for 16 hours from the time they got to the airport to the time they got on the plane, I think it was. And honestly, I think that does sound traumatizing. Maybe not compared to bigger issues in life, such as, you know, someone dying or whatever, but I can see why that would be a horrible experience that she's really glad is over and is really upset by. But yeah, I think that the way she dramatized it and said it was so traumatizing and things, I think that obviously was a bit overdone. But yeah, it was a very interesting story and it did sound pretty horrible. Next question. What do you think about Megan's podcast from So Dramatic, with a source saying that Tammy was abusive towards Matt, and if she were a man, she would be in jail like her brother? Yes, that was said on a So Dramatic podcast, but Megan said it came from one of Matt's friends, and she's wondering if the friend was trying to create this narrative of Tammy being a bad person in the breakup to make Matt seem better. It's just, she was saying it's sort of like an unreliable source because he's friends with Matt. So, yeah. Yep, I guess I don't really have any thoughts. I mean, I think it probably is made up as well. I hope it's made up. What is Chantal Duncan's big announcement? That I don't know either, but I mentioned her before. Do you know whereabouts Sammy Robinson bought her house? I do. It is very close to her old house. I guess I better not say, but it's over near the Bondi Beach sort of area. Do you think Tammy and Matt ended after the Australian Open fight? Well, yeah, it seems like everything went downhill from there for sure. But then they did go to the NRL draft night together, which was after the Australian Open, and you know they seemed very happy at that. But I believe that was the last time they were ever seen together. The draft night. People are saying they'll never look at mushrooms the same way. Oh, people are saying they can relate to me about wanting to buy Nagi's recipe book. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only psycho that's in this conversation. That's funny. Oh, also fun fact, Anna McEvoy was saying that on the day that her son Swade was born, she already had the name thought of, the Wordle word of the day was Swade. And she's been doing Wordle, and her mum messaged her and was like, whoa, the Wordle word of the day is Swade. I think that's really cool. That would just be so mind-blowing for her, no doubt. Oh, Aussie Influencer Watch. They are saying that they think the product that is going to be from Steph and Laura, the Kick brand, is going to be a low-tox deodorant. Maybe it'll be one of those wild refill ones. I see them everywhere. I would never buy them, though, because I don't like natural deodorants, personally. This person's saying that they love that a mother chooses to cook real food for her child and people are put off by that. So odd. Power to her. I don't think anyone's put off by it. Maybe they are. Not that I know of, but yeah, I think it's great as well. This person bought beef Wellingtons from Gary's Meats at Paran Market. Oh yeah, this is saying that flight delays are happening regularly now. It's not what it used to be. That is so true. Is Matt Zukowski's ex Jen also from Love Island? No, she is not from Love Island. I don't think she's famous at all. Oh, no, I don't think so. Oh gosh, I've already been talking for 40 minutes. I better hop off soon. I've already spoken about this. There's lots about Matt and Tammy. I did a dedicated YouTube video, which was also on TikTok. If you haven't seen it on TikTok, you need to go and just look at the amount of hate comments I got. It's honestly crazy. I honestly just find it funny. Like, people always bag me out. They're like, oh, you need to get a life. Like, I can't believe that you would do this with your spare time. And then people are defending me saying, well, it's her job. But yes, it is true. I do not get paid for posting on TikTok, but the idea is marketing. You get yourself exposure on TikTok, you get followers. Hopefully the followers come over to Instagram and then potentially subscribe. That is the idea behind it. So yes, I don't get paid directly, but you hope that in the end you do get paid, if that makes sense. Because the only way I get paid is by subscription on my Instagram, and also I do get paid YouTube views. So last month I got $360, which was absolutely insane. This month I'm getting $160, so it's obviously very volatile. $160, I'm honestly like, holy shit, that is so cool. And I noticed that somebody sent in to me tonight. They said, just joined your subscriptions, loving the extra updates, money well spent, thank you. So thank you for subscribing. I honestly love when people subscribe and love it. That is my goal. Yeah, so I got through nearly all the questions. Oh yeah, another one about Mitch Orval. Oh, how did Bella Valaris and Sam Guggenheimer know each other? Random pairing and age gap, which is fine. Yeah, I did notice they were posting together this week, and I think Sam's 24 and Bella's about 30, so yeah, it is a random age gap, but they're honestly at similar stages of life, so I feel like the age gap wouldn't seem bad, and they've got similar careers. I think they would probably just know each other, probably from both being influencers. Maybe they've just followed each other online for a while and thought, let's catch up, make some content together. Good for both their brands. Oh, this one, Sammy Robinson's new boyfriend, did they previously date? Yes, so Sean Stevenson, her current boyfriend, she had a boyfriend before her current boyfriend, and then her boyfriend before that was also Sean Stevenson. So yes, he is one of her ex-boyfriends, and she is dating him again. Oh, people are saying that they saw the TikTok comments. Yeah, people are on it. This person's saying, do you get $20,000 a month from your subscribers? Because I did notice that comment on TikTok, and I was like, oh, let people believe what they want. It's so funny. Okay, I've just done my tax return for the 24-25 financial year, and after deductions, which is barely anything for influencer updates, I made $41,000 a year. So no, I do not make $20,000 a month. Before deductions, it was about $44,000 a year. So that is what I make officially in the last financial tax year. That is what I made from influencer updates. And out of that $44,000, I probably should be taking 12% super out, but I don't. And then I also have to take tax out of that money. So no, I'm not retiring off influencer updates money. It is a part-time income, and I do it because I love it. There you have it. Yeah, people saying not bad though. I agree. It is absolutely not bad because I used to do this for free and I loved doing it for free. So honestly, I'm so grateful that I make any money from doing it. It is incredible. And Delta Goodrum's wedding photos, thoughts on her dresses. Well, I loved that she had 3 dresses. I haven't really had the time to sit and look at the photos properly, but it was on vogue.com.au. And yeah, her dresses, I mean, yeah, I've got to have a better look at them, but I'm sure they were incredible. Everything about her wedding looked very, very fancy. Oh, Jackie O had a stalker arrested near her home. God, that would be really horrible, that part of being famous. Oh, this person's saying that I earn about 3 times as much as if I was selling Monet. That's hilarious. Do I do my own tax? No, I do not do my own tax because I am not a tax accountant. Fun fact. Cool. All right. So thanks all for joining, and I'm going to sign off now. And if I didn't answer your question, please send me a DM and we'll talk about it there. And thank you to all the subscribers who pay me $20,000 a month. And I will see you all next week. Bye.